lonely country out here, and I like it. I love how little traffic there is on the interstates through North Dakota. Wild horses. Whoa. Good thing I saw him. He could have easily struck my ankles if I hadn't. Rockhopper here. I think I may have found the best place in all of North Dakota. Only in North Dakota would you see a buffalo grazing in a rest area beside the freeway. When you think of North Dakota, you might think of farmland and oil fields and not much else. Western North Dakota certainly has more than its share of oil derricks pumping away all day and night. And there's the accompanying truck traffic creating billowing clouds of dust along the dirt roads, and the tanks and pipelines scattered across the landscape. So you'd be mostly right. But there are other things. Big lakes, long rivers, Badlands, and Bison. And there's Theodore Roosevelt National Park, quite possibly the most unique and beautiful place in the state. Here you can find a geologically spectacular natural wonder, complete with many of the animals that historically called this place home. This was my first time visiting North Dakota. Now, after setting foot in that state, there were only 2 states left until I could say that I'd been in all 50. Theodore Roosevelt National Park is the only national park named for a person, and it's fitting that the park is named after him. He spent time in North Dakota on his ranch when he was away from Washington, D.C. as president. TR was the greatest environmental and conservation president of all time, setting aside millions of acres across the country as public lands. If not for him and his visionary approach, the public lands that we know and love today, like national forests and BLM land, would likely all be housing subdivisions, shopping malls, industrial parks, and the like. Our public lands belong to all of us. Thank you, Teddy Roosevelt. The story of the Badlands begins over 65 million years ago during the Paleocene epoch. Large amounts of sediments were forming as water, wind, and freezing worked to break down the mountains. These sediments, mostly sand, silt, and mud, were carried off the eastern slopes by ancient rivers and deposited here in layers. Numerous volcanoes in what is now South Dakota and western states also erupted during this time, spewing out voluminous amounts of ash. Some of this was blown or carried by rivers into North Dakota and accumulated in standing water. Over time, the sediments turned into the sandstone, siltstone, and mudstone layers now exposed in the park, while the ash layers became bentonite clay. There are prairie dogs that cluster in certain areas, which are called towns, and there are the bison, the behemoths of the plains, some weighing close to 2,000 pounds. Black-tailed prairie dogs once ranged the Great Plains from southern Saskatchewan to northern Mexico. Originally named petits chiens, meaning little dogs by early French explorers, these highly social animals are actually rodents. They are members of the squirrel family. Though there are 5 species of prairie dogs in North America, only the black-tailed species inhabits Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Named for their bark-like calls and black-tipped tail, black-tailed prairie dogs are small, short-tailed animals with eyes and small ears set far back on their heads, averaging 14 to 17 inches in length and weighing 1 to 3 pounds. A prairie dog colony, or town, consists of a large number of closely spaced burrows, each comprising an elaborate network of tunnels and multiple entrance holes that provide escape routes from pursuing predators. The primary prairie dog social unit is the coterie, an acre or so of territory with 50 to 60 burrow entrances that is occupied by a single group. A coterie typically consists of 1 adult male, several adult females, and their offspring. Members of a coterie are a closely knit group, recognizing each other by an identifying kiss or sniff. Their cohesiveness is maintained by the cooperative activities of raising young, constructing burrows, grooming, playing, and defending the coterie territory. The dominant male is typically the most active in the defense of the coterie, patrolling its invisible borders and challenging any intruder. Prairie dogs warn of territorial trespassers from adjacent coteries or approaching danger by emitting a series of barks, which sound more like high-pitched squeaks. Specific threats are associated with distinctive vocalization patterns that serve to alert all residents of a town to the common threat. Prairie dogs are an important food source for predators like badgers, coyotes, foxes, bobcats, golden eagles, and various hawks. Rattlesnakes and bull snakes occasionally prey on the young. Prairie dogs rely on their excellent hearing, vision, and communication to avoid these predators. From their vantage point atop the burrow mound, they can look and listen for danger. When spotting an enemy, it alerts the colony by barks and tail flicking. If danger gets too close, the prairie dog dives into its burrow. After the threat is past, they reemerge and give an all-clear signal. Bison are the iconic beasts of the plains and are also referred to as buffalo. They once roamed freely across the plains of the North American continent, stretching from southern Saskatchewan to northern Mexico and eastern Oregon all the way to western Pennsylvania and southward to the panhandle of Florida. Their numbers were estimated to be some 60 million animals. Bison are the largest creatures on the continent, with males capable of weighing over 2,000 pounds and females upwards of 1,200 pounds. This is the Little Missouri River, quite brown in appearance and muddy. I'm just getting accustomed to these Dakota rivers. They're slow-moving, shallow, and warm, in the summer anyway, but they are quite muddy, and I'm just gonna try and go in here and get a little swim and cool off because it's quite hot today. This is like stepping into mud soup. Now I have been in Midwestern rivers before, down in Missouri and northern Arkansas, and those rivers are quite clear. I could see 5 feet. These, you can't even see 5 inches. You can't even see 2 inches. Look what I saw coming back to the car. Whoa. Right by the river? Careful of that. Okay, buddy, sorry, didn't mean to disturb you. Good thing I saw him. He could have easily struck my ankles if I hadn't, if I'd accidentally stepped on him or something. He was right in my path. I found that Buck Hill, being one of the highest points in the park, was a good place to watch the sun go down at the end of the day. I didn't know there were wild horses within the park and was pleasantly surprised to see them. These were roaming around the south unit of the park. They looked well-nourished and healthy and beautiful. They came so close I could almost have reached out and touched them. I was heading out of the park to camp for the night and was delightfully delayed by the horses slowly wandering across the road. Yesterday I woke up to a pronghorn right outside my car. This morning I wake up to wild horses right outside my car. Pretty cool. Wild horses. I'm surprised how close they're getting to me. The urge of grazing that green grass right next to me is becoming irresistible to them. They just keep getting closer and closer. They're only about 10 feet away from me now. Well, hello there. Just a few feet away from me. I'm amazed they're getting so close. This is the closest I think I've been to wild horses. I've had other horses that are wild come up pretty close, but this is really close. I don't think they'd want me to try and touch them though. Now you can see they're wild. Look at the fur or the hair on the side of that one. And I'm in the national grasslands here. These guys are literally at my feet right now. This is quite amazing. Not only horses, but a tiny frog in my camp. Where did you come from? This horse seems pretty curious about me. He's coming really close. Want to say hi, bud? Hi. Just want to check me out, huh? Now I got two curious ones. Only about 5 feet away from me. Hi, guys. Want to say hi? Can I pet you? I don't think so. No, you're not that tame. Little frog right there. Bison might seem slow as they lumber along, but can be surprisingly quick, especially in short bursts. And they are quite strong. The earth literally shook, it was said, when they thundered across the prairie, as they constantly moved as they grazed. But with the arrival of the white man, numbers quickly declined. Bison numbers dropped to roughly 300 animals left in the U.S. Today, there are several hundred bison roaming Teddy Roosevelt National Park. They are just a scant remnant of the once flourishing herds, and they are fenced in and can't roam freely like their ancestors did. Bison are among the most dangerous animals encountered by visitors to the various North American national parks and will attack humans if provoked. They appear slow because of their lethargic movements, but can easily outrun humans, attaining speeds above 40 miles an hour. Bison are herbivores, grazing on the grasses and sedges of the North American prairies. Their daily schedule involves 2-hour periods of grazing, resting, and cud chewing, then moving to a new location for more grazing. Bison roll in what is called a wallow and coat themselves with dust or mud. It's thought that this is to deter ticks and parasites and give relief from the itch of biting insects. For the first 2 months of life, calves are lighter in color than mature bison. One extremely rare condition is the white buffalo, in which the calf turns entirely white and is considered a good omen by Native Americans. The bison today are just a fraction of what they once were, when tens of millions roamed the prairie. These bison are actually fenced within the north unit of the national park. Traffic jam, bison style. Hey, little baby. I'm stuck in the middle of a bison traffic jam here. There was no use in being in a hurry to get back out of the park. I found myself caught in the most interesting traffic jam ever. I couldn't go faster than the bison were walking, and when I later looked back, I noticed I was completely hemmed in by the moving herd. They were even at my side. I was part of the herd. lots of trails to explore in and around Teddy Roosevelt National Park. I hope you enjoyed exploring what just might be the best part of all of North Dakota. Don't forget to give me a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Rockhopper. I'll see ya.